Hello and thank you for joining me today. My name is Wesley Boudreau, one of the financial advisors here at the Retirement Group. Today we're going to give you a quick update on the interest rates and how they're used to calculate the Chevron pension lump sum. We just got the interest rates for June, which will help dictate what September commencement benefit rates are going to be for that pension lump sum calculation. And just as they've been doing so far in 2022, they've continued to rise, which is continuing to drop your pension lump sum. So we'll get into that in just a moment. Before we get into that, I just want to remind everybody again who the Retirement Group is. We are an independent financial advisory firm that focuses on working with corporate employees and helping them transition into retirement. We've been working with Chevron employees for quite some time, and that gives us a deep understanding of your benefits plans, not just the pension we'll talk about today, but also the 401k, healthcare, retiree savings, things of that nature as well. I know we do have offices throughout the country, so rest assured if you need to sit down with myself or one of the other advisors face to face, we can still accommodate you there. But obviously, we can help you via phone calls or web meetings as well. And ultimately speaking, at the end of the day, if there's anything you take us up on, it's our complementary cash flow analysis. And that's the best way to really kind of review this pension question that you may be looking at. We can take a look at spending 10 minutes with you, gather some data, let you look at different retirement scenarios, the different pension options you have with the Chevron, the lump sum versus the annuity, and what those different options will look like, not just now, but in 10, 20, 30 years down the road as well. So it's really important to take us up on that if you haven't done so ever, or if it's been over a year, it's good to update that as well. So let's jump into what you guys are curious about, and that's the numbers and what that's going to mean for your pension lump sum calculation. Now, I know we've gone over this quite some time, multiple times before, but a quick refresher. The Chevron pension plan is a classic defined benefit plan, in which case there is a formula that determines what your income annuity is going to be for the rest of your life. From that point, if you'd like to deviate and take a period certain or a joint survivor, that's going to change that annuity. But if you're looking to take a lump sum, in which case Chevron gives you cash value for you to go out and try and to essentially recreate that annuity yourself, that's where these interest rates come into play. And take a look at that seesaw at the top of this page. Keep that in mind. As interest rates go down, which we saw them go down quite a bit during the pandemic, that increased pension lump sums. When interest rates go up, which we always knew was going to happen, but maybe not this quickly and this severe that we've seen so far in 2022, as those interest rates go up, that's going to drop those lump sums, and that's what we've been seeing essentially month by month by month, and we've seen one of the largest monthly drops here between August and September coming up, so we'll talk about that in just a moment. Now, generally speaking, what's going to happen if you want to look at a quick rule of thumb, about a 1% change in interest rates is going to equate anywhere between an 8 to a 12% change in your lump sum calculation. So simple math, let's just say 1% equals 10%. So keep that in the back of your mind. If you were looking at a pension lump sum calculation and it came out to $1 million lump sum and interest rates moved up by 1%, you could see about a $100,000 decline. And we've seen that quite often here this year so far. Now, the way they use the interest rates is they look at the average of the third, fourth, and fifth prior month to determine what your rate's going to be for the commencement you decide. And so we got the June rates. So again, we're looking at April, May, and June is going to give us what they're going to be for September. And they use segment rates. So the first, second, and third segment. The first segment is going to correlate to the first 5 years of retirement. Second segment, years 6 through 20. And the third segment, years 21 and beyond. So for most of us, that 15-year period, that second segment is going to have the highest weighting. So it's really important to kind of keep a focus on what those interest rates are. But let's go ahead and zoom in here so it's a little bit easier to see. Again, as I mentioned, April, May, and June, the average is going to give us what September is. So if we look at that first blue line, September 2022, if you commence your benefits at that point in time, that first segment is 3.29%, second segment 4.54%, and the third segment 4.55%. Now, if you were to commence it this month in August, you'll see it's lower, 2.89%, 4.17%, and 4.27%. So let's go back again to that middle segment I talked about, the second segment. It's going to be jumping from 4.17 in August to 4.54 in September commencement. So that's a little bit shy of a 40 basis point change. So what that means is you'll be seeing about a 4% drop likely in your pension lump sum from August to September. Now, again, if we go back all the way to January, we've actually seen a change of close to 2%. So again, if you have looked at your pension lump sum calculation back in January and it was $1 million, and you look at it now in September, it's going to come down by about 20%. Obviously, that's behind us. We can't change anything if you haven't commenced your benefits already, but we are seeing that move again from August to September severe. We'll see how inflation continues. We might continue to see some more moves up and looking at commencement in October, November, December, and we could see that trend rise. Eventually, we'll hopefully see it level off. But if you're thinking about pulling that trigger, or if you're retiring in the near future, it's really important to look at these different options if you're thinking about taking the pension lump sum, because again, we're seeing a drop in that by 4% from just August to September, and it could continue from here. So if you are looking at taking the pension as an annuity, keep in mind these interest rates are not going to have the same effect. Obviously, your pension as an annuity is going to have a fixed income. So inflation is going to obviously erode your purchasing power, but it's not going to affect it the same way these pension lump sum calculations are looking. But again, if you have any questions, the best way to actually look at this is by running that cash flow analysis I mentioned before. We can actually take a look at running the scenario for different retirement dates, look at your pension calculation as a lump sum versus an annuity, look at them side by side, show how it not just looks now, but in 10, 20, 30 years down the road as well, to help you make the proper decision as to when to retire and what benefits to elect on that pension. And that also ties into reviewing the 401k and the different retiree medical benefits and stuff you're seeing as well. But ultimately speaking, if you can spend a little bit of time with us, we can at least give you the financial data to show you where you stand now, and if and when it makes the most sense to pull the trigger to retire. And in doing so, what are the best benefit choices for you as well. So ultimately, any questions on this, if you want to run those numbers, just give us a call at 1-800-900-5867. You can also reach that info@theretirementgroup.com. We've also got a couple QR codes up here, so if you'd like to hold your cell phone up and schedule an appointment with myself or one of the other advisors in the offices, we can accommodate you there. Also, if you'd like to stay updated on the interest rates or any other Chevron information, you can follow us on our Chevron specific LinkedIn page here as well. But like I said, ultimately, at the end of the day, the best way to look at this is to run that cash flow analysis and look at your individual situation. Again, like I mentioned before, we've worked extensively with Chevron employees and retirees who have a deep understanding. However, we are not employed by nor endorsed by Chevron, so just keep that in mind. But again, any questions, or if you want to run this or reach out to us for any other questions, you can reach that 1-800-900-5867. Look forward to talking to you, and I hope everybody has a great day.